Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So many of you think about retirement ki, you know what, एक बार retire हो गए तो then we will buy a house in Goa, settle there, live on a beach. We'll have a lot of free time. We'll travel the world. So this is what the traditional definition or aspiration around retirement is. Now, these are things that I've already been able to do in my life with God's grace and all of your blessings. And what I've realized is that, you know what, retiring is not the answer. In fact, I'm going back to the workforce and I find more meaning there. So on this video, I'm going to help you understand the practical reality of retirement. There are very few people who would have actually retired and gone back to the workforce. So I'm trying to bring that perspective into the mix. Now, why is this video so important? The reason is very simple, that these days there has been a race कि यार जल्दी retire हो जाओ. We'll work really hard, work for like 20-30 years and then we will retire and then मजे ही मजे. Or we will, just work hard for the next 5 years, create a company and then we will retire मजे ही मजे. No, it doesn't work that way, and I just wanted to share the practical reality. 5 key points that I'll take you through. 1, I will take you through my own retirement journey. Number 2, I will explain why is it that I'm going back to the workforce, why I find more meaning there. Number 3, what is it that I'm going to do next. 4th and 5th point are relevant for people who are looking to retire, where I will explain that what is the right definition of retirement in 2024, because the world has changed so much. And finally, what are some key things, habits, strategies that you need to adopt in case you want to practically retire? On this video, I will not show you any Excel spreadsheets because retirement cannot be done on an Excel spreadsheet. Retirement has a lot of moving parts and you need to take it with a very practical approach. So with that viewpoint in mind, let us start discussing point 1, where I will quickly help you understand my retirement journey, so to say. So basically, for people who are new to my channel, my name is Akshat Shrivastava, and basically my retirement journey started when I was like 20 years old, so to say. Because when I was 20, I always had this fascination, you know what, Goa mein ghar kharidna hai, because I loved Goa, and in fact, Goa is still my house. Some people have started making rakas, you know what, Achha, you have left Goa. No, I'm not left Goa. Goa is still very much my home. This is something that I explained the last time also. But फालतू के YouTubers आ जाते हैं कुछ like when they'll make like whatever videos, किसी की personal life को लेके, and just negative connotation there. So anyways, coming back to the topic, let's see, when I was 20, I wanted to retire in Goa. Goa is a place that I loved, and thankfully I've been able to do that. That's one. Now, how was I able to do that? So it required a lot of hard work. So just to explain, like since the time I was 20, I was taking 2 jobs, right? So one is that I was in college. So that was a job in itself. कि पढ़ाई लिखाई करनी होती थी and all that stuff. And on top of that, because I had a good GMAT score, I started my own private GMAT tutoring business. So I used to coach people on how to study for GMAT, ace that exam, and उसके लिए मेरे को अच्छा वैसा भी देते थे. That was something that I did. After my college, I found my first job with a non-profit organization. My salary was 10,000 rupees. ऐसी कोई बहुत ज़्यादा salary नहीं थी. लेकिन because I was doing this GMAT tutoring on the side, which was my second job, I was making good money. Now, this kept on going for a few years. Then I eventually went to INSEAD Business School, which is considered to be one of the top business schools in the world. Now, after that, I got a job at a management consulting company. Now, since I was working abroad, I was making a lot of money. That is where my retirement journey, so to say, kick-started very soon, right? And मेरे को हमेशा लगता था, right? I mean, when I was working at a management consulting corporate job, कि यार बहुत काम कराते हैं, right? I mean, it's like 10-12 hours of work, 14 hours of work. Though I was okay with that. I was working really hard, but I realized that, this is not sustainable. This is not something that I'll be able to do for the next 20-30 years of my life. So therefore, I started understanding what the meaning of retirement was. When I was 20 years old, I thought retirement is कि बहुत पैसा कमा लो and you are like financially free and you're retired. No. Then when I started working like at a management consulting job, मैं पैसा बहुत कमाने लगा, no doubt about that. But having said this, it was not like earning money was not equal to retirement. What was equal to retirement at that point in time for me was that, okay, fine, you have money, great. Now you also require time freedom. So on top of money freedom. Then years went by. I started my own company, sold it, made decent amount of money and started investing a lot of money, which created parallel income stream for me. It gave me an incentive, motivation to learn more about the market because I saw it as a parallel income stream. More importantly, a passive income stream. And then I thought that, okay, boss, this is like amazing, right? I mean, if you can do things like that, okay, you can work from your computer, make money, start digital businesses, learn investing, then it gives you what? It gives you third category of freedom, which is called as location freedom. So, इस तरीके से the wheel started moving. Now, to be honest, I kind of achieved financial freedom even before YouTube. YouTube accelerated that journey, no doubt about that. It allowed me to make more money, get my name out, all that stuff. There were definite advantages. But trust me, when I started YouTube back in 2021, I had no clue that people could even make money from YouTube. YouTube was just a passion project for me. It still is a passion project for me. So in 2024, I am a registered investment advisor in Middle East. Right now, I am in Middle East. I spend a lot of time here. So what my life looks like in 2024 is that I'm running a hedge fund. I'm running YouTube. I coach people on how to better their money. I work with a lot of HNI investors. I do Airbnb. So I buy properties, convert them into Airbnbs, rent it out to Airbnb management companies. They run those Airbnbs for me. In fact, I'm buying some of my international properties now. So this is what life looks like. It's definitely great. Now, just to talk about my work day, to be honest, I don't work for more than like 3 to 4 hours a day. There are exceptional days. For example, if I'm running an investment summit or if I'm running or teaching a class entire day, then it might take like maybe 6-7 hours a day. But de facto, most of my days are 3 to 4 hours. So at this stage in 2024, I can say that, okay, fine, I have like financial flexibility, I have time freedom, I have location freedom, and therefore I am retired, so to say. Now, the typical definition, what people assume of retirement is, you know what, काम कर लिया 20 साल, and then we will just kick back, right, and sip pina colada on a beach and we are done. Now, that's a very boring life and it is not applicable for majority of the people, right? Now, why am I saying that? So let me work through a practical example. You might be having relatives or maybe your mom and dad or someone that you know in a government job. And government job में typically क्या होता है कि when you are like 60, 65ish, then आपको भगा देते हैं, right? I mean, retirement हो गया आपका, आपको माला वाला पहना के विदा कर देते हैं, right? And then many people, because they have worked for the last 30, 40 years of their life in a government job, suddenly next day they have nothing to do, right? They are just retired. थोड़े दिन मजा आता है, right? Maybe like a week or so. And after that, you're done, right? I mean, it's just very boring. It kind of messes up your brain, so to say, right? So this becomes like a major headache, and do tell me, right, in the comment section if you know of such people. I know many such people. जिनके लिए retirement becomes a struggle. So I think all of us confuse the perspective or the dimensions around retirement. People think that retirement is kicking back and not doing anything. It is completely wrong perspective. To me, retirement is having time, money, location, freedom, and doing things which kind of inspires you, which kind of makes your life worth living, so to say, right? So that is how I think about retirement in 2024, 2025, right? And that is my viewpoint on retirement. Now comes the next question that, okay, fine, you have all this flexibility and maybe you're saying it to boast. No, I'm not saying this to boast. I have genuinely done these things. I have done these things in front of you. So I'm just taking you through that journey and hopefully you will see it with that perspective. Now, second key thing is that, okay, fine, आपने ये सब चीजें achieve कर ली. Now, what is it that inspires you to do something next, right? And what are like things that you're focusing on? And more importantly, why are you focusing on these things? So, okay, so 2-3 points there. Number one point is that I feel that your work gives you meaning, okay? Now, what is the meaning of that? Now, उसके बाद simple सी चीज़ ये होती है कि many of us confuse work with money, right? And that is how youngsters do it. Ki, for example, if you are in a college and you get like 2 jobs, one job is paying you 20 lakh salary a year, and the second job is paying you maybe like 15 lakh. You will most likely pick like job number 1. Why? Because you're like, yaar, मेरे को काम तो करना ही है, right? So I'll make like yaar, as much money as possible. That is not wrong at that age, right? But as you enter the corporate workforce, you start questioning certain things. For example, कि यार अच्छा ठीक है मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन I'm not like I'm missing functions. I'm not able to go back home, or I'm not spending enough time with my kids. Then it becomes a lifestyle question also. So what I'm trying to hint towards is that your work is not just a mode of survival or mode of making money. It has deeper meaning to it, right? Now, this is an important point and you will only realize once you have had a certain number of years of work experience. So, which brings me to the question that as to what inspires me to work and what is it that I'm likely to do next. See, I want to do things which give me a lot of work pleasure, so to say. So, I really enjoy investing. I really enjoy teaching. I really enjoy researching. These are some things that I would anyways do, right? So just say my YouTube is mostly around this, right? That I talk about investing, I talk about money, I talk about money management, research, critical thinking. So these are points that I'm anyways living. These are my passions. These are things that I truly enjoy. जैसे मुझे बहुत मजा आता है when I get to meet like so many set of investors, how they are thinking about money. It's not called as being money minded. It just simply means that your inclination is towards something. For example, I like researching investment opportunities. For me, it's fun that to go around in the market, figure out what the best deals would be, go research stocks, That is very interesting exercise for me. It keeps me relevant. It gives me a motive to get up in the day and do something productive. Right? So that is my number one reason what gives me motivation to work, and my work is joy. Second key point is that what kind of example will I be setting for my kids? For example, I might have all the money in the world, hypothetically speaking. But if my kids just see me, right, just sitting on couch all day and not doing anything, right, then it's not something which is inspirational, so to say, and I can tell them 100 different things. Yeah, ye kar lo, wo kar lo, mehnati ban jao. But unless they see me putting certain level of hard work every day, that's not something that I can ask them to do, right, themselves. So to act as an inspiration also, to be like, a kind of a good role model for my kids, I do need to work, right? So irrespective of how much wealth I will be able to generate, right? So this is point 2. Point 3 is that I feel that life is about finding balance and constant growth, right? Now, what is the meaning of finding balance? For example, it's like a balanced diet. For example, you eat in a buffet, or आपने जाके खा लिया बहुत सारा, you eat like 20,000 calories in a single day or single meal. Now, that does not mean that you'll not eat anything for the next 6 days. It will be very difficult for you to do it. So it's about finding balance, right? So life is also about finding balance, that you live your life, you witness certain things, you, as a normal, rational thinking creature, you learn from that environment. You figure out the next best thing to do in your life. It is not called as changing your mind. It is called as evolving, right? And most people do not think of it from that perspective. So I feel that people, when they think about retirement, it's not about reaching a end goal or an end line. It's mostly about finding a balance in terms of your work, lifestyle, and everything that you want to do. So for me, figuring out that lifestyle is very, very important. Now, किस तरीके की life में जीना चाहता हूँ, that's an entirely different conversation altogether. If you guys are interested, I'll probably make a video on that. But just to cut the long story short and giving you 2-3 critical points, what is it that I'll be doing next? I will be managing my hedge fund. I will continue to teach. I will make videos from time to time because all these things are fun for me. I will also try to complete my book. I've been postponing it for such a long period of time. I'll figure out like a way to complete that. So that's another project that I will be keen on doing. मेरे को थोड़ी सी बोरियत हो जाती है book लिखने में, but I'll try my best to complete that as well. Right. Okay, so now comes the next point that, okay, fine, that if we want to think about retirement, we are in our 20s, 30s, 40s, or looking forward to retirement. What are how would you define retirement? What are some broader things that we should keep in mind? How much money do we need? And what is the best way of getting there? So let us start discussing these points. See, according to me, my definition of retirement is that you need to have 3 types of freedom. One is called as money freedom. Of course, you need big amount of money to retire, right? Where you don't have to worry from a financial viewpoint. That does not mean that you stop making money. It says that you don't stress too much about it. Second key point is that you have time freedom because it allows you, for example, if you are making even 1 crore salary a year or 5 crore salary a year, but to make that, if you have to work for 18 hours a day, it's not very sustainable. So this is called as time freedom, that you're getting some free time every day, right? A reasonable amount of time. Third key is location freedom. Now for me, location freedom is very critical. Now why is that? Because I have been a boogie of that, right? So what does I mean by that? So for example, I used to live in Delhi. It was extremely polluted, right? Even if I had a lot of money, even if I had a lot of free time, but if I have to live in a gas chamber, so to say, right, for the lack of a better word, it's just not worth it, right? So therefore my family decided to move to Goa, right? From that angle, this is not a push कि आप भी Goa आ जाओ या whatever, आपको जहाँ अच्छा लगे आप वहाँ जाओ, right? I mean, it's not it's a free country, right? So आपको जहाँ पे भी रहना है आप रह सकते हैं और internationally भी जा सकते हैं. But the importance that I'm trying to tell you is that you need all 3 different types of freedom as per my understanding to retire: time, money, and location. In fact, location का और भी advantage होता है कि, for example, if you're location independent, then you get to travel more, you get to experience the world more. You can stay in the best weather. For example, जैसे दुबई में 6 महीने गर्मी बहुत पड़ती है, right? So there is no point in living in Dubai in those 6 months. So I'll probably go to some other country to visit. Similarly, गोवा में 3-4 महीने बरसात बहुत होती है. And if you don't like rains too much, और थोड़ा बहुत चलता है कि लेकिन अब constant rain हो रही है 3 महीने 4 महीने, right? So you might not like it. So having that location freedom allows you to experience the best things across the world. That is what I've realized. So therefore, having these 3 types of freedom forms the core thesis of retirement for me. And that is something that I've consciously focused on. Which brings me to the final point that, okay, अगर आपको retire होना है, then what is the formula, some key points that you should understand, how you should go about building it, what are some good habits to cultivate. So let me give you like a 2-3 minute pitch on that. बहुत simple point बोलूँगा, बहुत complicated कुछ नहीं बताऊँगा. So okay, point number 1, if you wish to retire, you need to be hardworking. Now what is the meaning of that? Because this sounds really contrary. See, अगर आप इस प्रवृत्ति के इंसान हो, right? अगर आपका nature ये है कि you know what, मैं तो आलसी इंसान हूँ. I can guarantee you that you will struggle to retire because you will never be in that top 10% which would have the option to retire. I'm just being blunt with you, right? So first and foremost, and this is like a, kind of a contrary thought process, that in order to retire, you have to work really, really hard or really smart, more importantly, in order to have that financial freedom. So this is one. Second key point is that if you have to keep a mathematical formula in mind or some equations in mind, this is what I would recommend, that in case you're looking to retire, you need to know that there are 3 things at play and you need to remember this breakup. So number 1, you need a big retirement corpus, right? Now, there is no right number here. Again, I would say that if you want to live a decent life and a decent cost of living city in India, then having a corpus of 3 CR would be the starting point, right? अगर आपका 3 CR का corpus है, then you can theoretically retire, provided आपके बाकी 2 points हो, right? अब ये 3 CR का क्या फंडा है कि for example 3 CR if you have, right? And you are doing a systematic withdrawal of that 3 CR corpus every year by 4% plus inflation, right? अगर आप इसका adjustment कर लेते हो, then you are able to survive. For example, let's say that your growth rate, and this brings me to the second point, that आपने 3 करोड़ का corpus कमा लिया, and you are able to grow it at let's say 15%, okay? मान के चलो कि inflation in the economy is 11% for your segment, okay? What is segmental inflation? I have spoken about multiple times in the past. I will not belabor that. क्योंकि लोग तो फिर शुरू हो जाएंगे, वो 3-4% होता है, नहीं होता भाई, 3-4% इन्फ्लेशन बहुत होता है इन्फ्लेशन, ओके? सो एंड 4% you are withdrawing, so then this equation matches. So your target growth rate becomes 15% for your portfolio. And I feel that if you are able to grow your portfolio or corpus at between like 12% to 16%, then you are doing okay. Anything above 16% is amazing. Anything less than 12% is bad, right? Over a 3 to 5 year basis. Now third and final point is that inflation of your lifestyle. आपको ये point भी और ये equation में balance करके चलना पड़ेगा. For example, आप retire हुए, right? And then you used to take only like 1 foreign vacation. By the time you retired, you decided कि 5 करोड़ बहुत है. And then you suddenly, because I have so much free time, I'll take like 10 vacations a year. Now, फिर तो आपको corpus ही डूब जाएगा. Then you have to, instead of having like a 3 CR corpus, you might need like a 6 CR corpus, okay? So please do not inflate your lifestyle, very important. Please know how to grow your portfolio. This is very important. And please have a decent size corpus to begin with. Minimum I would suggest is somewhere around 3 CR. More importantly, inculcate an ability to grow your portfolio at 15% around. If you do that, you are very well on your way to retirement. बाकी फिर आपका just it's a more of a spending habit game, so to say. इसमें आप कितनी भी Excel spreadsheet बना लो, it's just broad math. Retirement planning is not done on Excel spreadsheet. For example, simple सा question पूछता हूँ, आप investment advisor के साथ बैठे हुए 2022 में, okay? And उन्होंने आपको बता दिया कि okay, put like 5 crore, this is their ticket size. भाई, in 2024 budget, the NTCC has increased from 10% to 12.5% on equities. 25% की मार तो वहीं पड़ गई आपको. So this is a problem, right? That you have to understand all these basic points and accordingly adjust these 3 things. And this is going to be a moving target. This is very, very important. इसमें आप basic समझ सकते हो, but it's not as if that you can do a granular computation here. So first point was hard work. Hard work allows you to create a good corpus, learn investing skills. Do not inflate your lifestyle. This is the building block of retirement planning, but this only supports level 1. Okay. Level 2 comes that how do you achieve time freedom? Now see, I will tell you through my own story. Now, time freedom can only be achieved if you are highly skilled and if you are offering some kind of unique propositions or unique value add. For example, again, I do not mean to boast. I am saying it in the nicest way possible. For example, जैसे बहुत सारे investors होते हैं who want to work with me. So for example, if I have to have the time freedom, then they will say that, Akshat, can I come and meet you, right? And all that stuff. Let's have a meeting. So if I give them like a time after a month also, they are willing to spend that time with me, right? So, for which I'm very thankful. So I'm at that situation where I have something unique to offer them. So therefore, they are willing to wait. They are willing to travel. Some people, for example, in my investment summit, right, which I ran in Mumbai, so there was a person from Macedonia. So he was a Macedonian citizen. So he came all the way from Macedonia to attend my event. Now, for which I'm deeply thankful, right? So time freedom में होता है कि basically if you are skilled, right, and if you have unique things to offer, then you can set your own schedules, right? So this is part A. So part B. अच्छा, part B से पहले one more point. If you have to estimate a skill level, then try to be in that top 5%. If you are in top 5% of any field, you will get relatively more time freedom. Okay, so this is like a basic point here. Now, another aspect of time freedom is the understanding between hard work and smart work. Now, hard work means कि आप पिले पड़े हो, right? For example, when you're young, you're clueless, right? When you get your first corporate job, आप दौड़ते रहते हो, right? And आपसे सबसे ज़्यादा काम कराया जाता है, right? Which is okay because you have infinite energy at that point in time. But when you are my age, almost 37, I'm almost 37, so your energy levels might start to dip, right? Now, at that point in time, you need to use your experience in order to become smarter in your work choices, decision making. Otherwise, if you don't become smarter with time, right, and have that experience guiding you in terms of making smarter choices, आप जिंदगी भर hard work करते रह जाओगे. It will not be useful. Now, there is an entire episode that can be done on hard work versus smart work, which I'll not bore you with. But to cut the long story short, you need to make more strategic decisions. Now, what is a strategic decision? For example, in investing lingo, just I told you that you need to make like 12 to 15% returns on your corpus minimum. Okay. Now, if you are forever doing FD, is that like smart? Absolutely not. I'm not against FDs, but if your goal is 15% returns, you cannot do it by FDs. जहाँ पे after tax return might be like 5.5% for you, right? Because FDs are taxed at slab. So, ये सारे basic point हो गए. So, this is a hard work versus smart work decision. That in order to grow your portfolio, the smart decision that you need to make is that you need to invest in higher growth instruments. Risk ज़्यादा है, of course है. But that's the trade-off that you need to make. Okay, be accountable. Do not criticize much. Do not lose your focus in terms of like doing like stupid stuff, right? कि for example, अक्षत ने बोल दिया था HDFC अभी तक बढ़ा नहीं है, उसने उसको गारंटी ले लेनी चाहिए, हमारे पैसे वापस कर देने. भाई, was HDFC the only stock that you bought? There are so many stocks that we have purchased. There is a 5-7% rule that you need to follow in terms of investing, which I've been constantly saying. लेकिन क्या होता है कि when people who are in the constant habit of blaming others, they never learn themselves and they never become smarter with their decisions. So time freedom के लिए, it's very important to make smart calls, understand the difference, become really skilled, accountable, and take appropriate amount of risk and work smarter. That is how you will achieve time freedom. Now comes location freedom. Now location freedom आती है by creating passive income streams. For example, I have been buying properties in Goa. I am picking some properties internationally. अगर आप लोग चाहोगे तो I'll take you through that also. So this is like passive income stream for me. Similarly, YouTube is a passive income stream for me. Online businesses are passive income stream for me. So you need to make a choice today whether you want to build like a passive income stream or a location independent type of income stream, or do you want to build a location specific type of an income stream, and accordingly curate your bets. Okay. So yeah, so I hope that this gave you like a clarity breakdown of what financial freedom in 2024 looks like. I wish you the best. I hope that you work really hard, you work really smart, you learn, you constantly upgrade yourself, find meaning in your work, and end up achieving financial freedom. It's definitely beautiful. But having said this, it's not a ticket to do nothing. Okay, you still need to do something in your life, be productive, and find a meaning in your life on everyday basis. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.